Host, we like to think that justice is a result of meticulous detective work of DNA labs, high-tech surveillance, and psychological profiling. But history tells a different story. Sometimes, the most prolific killers in history aren't brought down by a super sleuth, they're brought down by a broken taillight, a missing license plate, a parking ticket. Welcome to Caught by Accident. Today, we're re-looking at 3 cases where the reign of terror didn't end with a cinematic showdown, but with a routine license and registration. Please, host, in the mid-1970s, New York City was paralyzed. A man calling himself the Son of Sam was stalking the streets with a .44 caliber bulldog revolver. The NYPD had a massive task force, thousands of leads, and nothing. Until August 10, 1977. Sound effect, city traffic, sirens in the distance. Host, David Berkowitz didn't get caught because of a fingerprint. He got caught because he was bad at parking. On the night of his final murder in Brooklyn, a local woman named Cecilia Davis noticed a police officer ticketing a car parked in front of a fire hydrant near the crime scene. She saw a man walking toward that car who looked suspicious. When the shooting happened moments later, she told the police about the man and the ticket. Host, investigators checked the records for every ticket issued in that area that night. They found a cream-colored Ford Galaxy belonging to David Berkowitz. When they looked inside the car outside his Yonkers apartment, they saw a rifle in the back seat and a letter addressed to the police task force. When Berkowitz walked out to his car, he was surrounded. His first words, "Well, you got me, all because of a fire hydrant." Host, Ted Bundy is often romanticized as a genius who outsmarted the law. But the truth is, Bundy's downfall was remarkably mundane. Music shifts to a tense, rhythmic bass. Host, in August 1975, a young patrol officer named Bob Hayward was sitting in his cruiser in Granger, Utah. He saw a Volkswagen Beetle cruising a residential neighborhood at 2 a.m. When Hayward turned on his lights, the Beetle sped off, blowing through to stop signs. Hayward caught up and pulled him over. Inside the car was Bundy. The officer searched the vehicle and found a ski mask, a crowbar, handcuffs, and strips of torn sheets. Host, Bundy was arrested, but eventually escaped custody and fled to Florida, where he killed again. How was he caught the final time? February 15, 1978, Pensacola. Officer David Lee pulled over a white VW Beetle because it showed up as stolen on his radio. Bundy resisted, a struggle ensued, and he was tackled to the ground. The mastermind was finally ended by a routine stolen vehicle check. Host, if you haven't heard the name Joel Rifkin, it's because his arrest was so humiliatingly simple, it almost feels like a dark comedy. Rifkin is believed to have killed up to 17 women in New York between 1989 and 1993. Music slows down, becoming more somber. Host, on June 28, 1993, state troopers noticed a pickup truck cruising on the Southern State Parkway without a rear license plate. They signaled for the driver to pull over. Rifkin panicked and led them on a 20-minute low-speed chase that ended when he crashed into a utility pole. Host, the troopers approached the truck, expecting a drunk driver or a car thief. Instead, they were hit by an overwhelming smell of decay. When they asked what was in the back, Rifkin simply admitted there was a body under the tarp. He had killed 17 people and evaded specialized task forces for 4 years, only to be undone by a missing piece of tin and a loose screw. Host, what do these stories tell us? They remind us that monsters aren't always shadowy geniuses. Often, they are arrogant. They begin to feel invincible, neglecting the small details that the rest of us have to follow every day. Music, theme swells slightly. Host, the Son of Sam was caught by a parking ticket. Ted Bundy by a stolen car report. Joel Rifkin by a missing plate. These killers weren't outsmarted by a grand plan. They were tripped up by the very system they thought they were above. Justice didn't arrive with a bang. It arrived with a clipboard and a flashing blue light. Host, thanks for listening to Caught by Accident. I'm your host, and remember, sometimes the smallest mistake is the one that changes everything.